Oh man. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here on this last week of 2020. Talking about Wonder Woman 84, a movie that I will wholeheartedly say, you never realize the benefits of having easy access to a new movie till you can just say, "Hey, I finished watching Wonder Woman 84. Let me rewatch that again because I missed certain parts," and you can just boom rewind it, and it's just right there at your fingertips. And I love it, and I'm wondering, even as a film critic, do I want to go back to going to theaters to watching these movies now? And I probably don't anymore. Like, I just give me the screener of it, and I'll be good to go. Just do that. And anyways, so I'm here with Joe and Prime. The other two, D and Airs, are going to join in later. But how you guys doing?
Good. Cold.
It's cold here too.
You're out.
Oh, I didn't hear you, Prime. What did you say?
Oh, just saying, Guten Tag, dudes. What up? What up?
Cool. So Wonder Woman 84 dropped, and I think again the benefit of having this movie ease access and rewatching it. I didn't immediately have a hot take until like after the second time watching it, and I was like, I think everybody grossly over exaggerated their feelings on this movie. Because at first I was like, okay, maybe I'm tripping, right? And then I watched, I was like, it's fine. I mean, I think you said it best, Prime. There, it's not cynical. Well,
yeah, that's one. Yeah, that's like one of my biggest takeaways from the movie, that the utter lack of cynicism and nihilism and deconstructionalism that permeates through the majority of superhero media now. I was like watching the whole time, waiting for the foot to drop to go like, did it really all matter anyway? You know what I'm talking about, like bullshit. You know exactly the bullshit I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's real media now, and the fact that she was so earnest and like there was like the shoe didn't drop, like it was what it was on the surface. Yeah. Like I left the movie with a warm feeling of like, you know what, Diana, you are right. People are good and they will choose to do good. Then I log on to Twitter and I want to move the fucking Mars.
I wanted to move to Mars when I saw the hot takes on Soul, and I was like, I like Soul. I mean, I understand the flaw. It was like, yo, y'all hot takes are just, phew. But like the ones for Wonder Woman, I was just sitting back like, huh? Like, look, our podcast, the cornerstone of it is based off of bad movies. I'm starting to think people never really seen a legit bad movie or just don't pay attention. I don't.
You know what? I agree with that shit too. I also think that people, and I hate to say this, but I feel like Cinema Sins has completely destroyed cinema discourse. Like people are just looking for shit to pick apart just to seem, quote unquote, smart and clever and go, look at me. I point out a flaw in the movie. Like, dude, do you know how many people I've seen online who say like, well, if the Wishing Stone's thing was that it grants your wish and you have to pay a cost, what about the guy who asked for coffee? And I'm like, immediately after he got the coffee, he burned his fucking mouth. Like, I know we're all on our phones on Twitter, not paying attention to the movie, but like, just because you didn't notice something, that doesn't automatically create a fucking plot hole.
Yeah. What were you about to say, Joe?
Nothing. I was listening to you guys.
Oh, yeah. But I don't know. It was one of those situations where I get what Gene, because look, the movie is set in the 80s, and it hit me on like this, like later in that second, like watch through, where I was like, oh, I get what Patty was doing. She leaned heavily on 80s sensibilities across the board. The plot, the bad guys, everything. And the mall shootout was like the testament of like, oh, this is 80s. It's 80s and stuff easily. I mean, which, I mean, for better or worse with the mall scene, I think it kind of threw me off, especially when we saw like the bank robbers at the beginning of Justice League, and it was like, well, these guys are pretty inept for professionals here, but fuck it, all right, let's just see what happens. Fine, cool. But that whole mall scene wore its 80s on his shoulders, like top to bottom, thoroughly and stuff. So
I think I shed a tear when I saw Walden's books, like a little part of me.
Bruh, yep.
I was like, oh no, why, Patty? Why?
But yeah, I guess for you, Joe, I know you look, you and Prime are neck and neck on like your ever love for Superman. I saw a lot of people say they got a lot of Dawn of Superman vibes from this. Did you see that when you were watching this?
Yeah, I mean, I got it from the first one too. I mean, in the first one, when he brings her back to London, and, they put her in the disguise. That's straight out of the Donner Superman movies. I mean, she is Chris Reeve as Clark Kent Superman in those movies, and in this one more so because, I mean, his Superman was this earnest, ho hum loving character, and that's what she is. I mean, she represents, love and compassion and empathy, and the scenes of her flying and everything, especially, they just gave straight out of, Superman 2 and the Richard Donner movies, and even Man of Steel, when he's learning how to fly and the joy on his face and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, to me, I think I said it on Twitter, like, Gal Gadot reminds me of Christopher Reeve as Superman in the role, because she has that kind of just charming, especially as it's weird, as Wonder Woman, she's a little more Christopher Reeve, but as Diana, she's almost more kind of sassy.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman, she's more, empathetic and loving and compassionate. Not that she's not Diana, but it's almost like a role reversal. Whereas Clark Kent is this bumbling, kind of nerdy guy that just fades into the background, and Diana kind of stands out, obviously because of the way she looks. But, I mean, I think Patty Jenkins to me, certain parts of Wonder Woman 1 were a love letter to the Richard Donner movies. This, to me, was an 80s version of a Richard Donner movie, like her love letter to that.
Yeah. No, I was just thinking about that because it's just all right. So, all right, if I had a gripe, and this is, like I said, this is one of those things where you just watch it and you nitpick and stuff. So, I got kind of thrown off, like with the Wishing Stone. I kind of wish they didn't go quantum leap with Steve Trevor coming back that way.
That was weird.
I kind of wish they didn't do that, because I was like, if it's a Wishing Stone, why did they just give us Steve Trevor in his actual body from like World War I or something, and it'd be like, all right, cool. But it was like,
here's my
quantum
thing,
leap.
Yeah, I thought that was weird too, and I see a lot of people going, it would be kind of weird if the genders were reversed, and I was like, no, it's weird now.
Oh,
and
it's still weird.
My thing is, I'm thinking like, okay, so the Wishing Stone grants the wish, and I'm thinking there's going to be like a choice, like either you can have the love of your life back, but you take this man's life away, like. But then no, her sacrifice was she's slowly losing her powers. Like one or the other works. You don't need to have both.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, for the message of the movie.
Because in my head, I was like, well, what if they was like he gets back and he's like, boom, he's in DC, and all of a sudden he's like, well, hold up, I was just in the plane and I was sacrificing myself. Now I'm in DC. What the hell happened? That would have been more dope as hell. And then like when she relinquishes her dream, he just disappears, and I'll be like, that would have been dope.
It's funny, like I thought the same thing of like, what happens to this guy's job, his family?
Thank you.
Exactly. And like, would Diana be willing to cost this man his life for her own happiness? Like that. Yeah. That's a Wonder Woman struggle. That's a question that she would have to struggle with, and that could have been her character journey to learning to let go. Like you didn't have to have the extra. Like I understand, like maybe wanted to nerf her, but maybe you could just had Cheetah's wish be the thing that nerfed her. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too much.
It was just weird because, like, on one hand, I'm like, did they not want to just bring Steve back? Because then it's like, you brought him back for the dead. Why can't you do that with everybody? I'm like, that did that. But on the other hand, they didn't explain. They're like, you can't just ask me to believe that Steve's soul, or whatever you want to call it, appears in this guy. We would see him as quote unquote handsome man, but she sees him as Steve.
Yep.
But then not tell me like, oh shit, I had an appointment or whatever. And the fact that they slept together, and at the end of the movie, she's like, oh hey, it was just.
He knew. Like, he had to know, because that fucking outfit, he knew.
Yeah,
I saw about the whole thing with Steve, and like, you didn't explain this, and I'm like, dude, the Marvel Cinematic Universe wiped out half the world's population, and then brought them back with like, okay, they're back, and kind of touched on it, but like not really.
Yeah, they joked about it in Far From Home, like, Yeah,
That
my
shit still
brother, my
bothers
brother,
me.
my brother's older than me now, and the thing it is, it's a scene, it's a moment where it's funny, but at the same time, you look deep in the eyes of that kid's soul. He's just bothered, like,
Well, it's just to me,
5 years of life.
Shit still bothers me.
the core of these movies, they're asking you to suspend disbelief. Like I heard people, her lasso extending to the top of that building doesn't make sense, and I'm like, it's a fucking magic lasso.
Thank you.
Like,
It tells you the
I
truth.
swear,
It's like, let it go.
I swear, if I hear one more motherfucker argue about like, well, a lasso can't do, I'm like, it's a magic lasso.
Cat throws a shield that ricochets, that defies physics. I think I could let go of the lasso.
And not just that. Fuck that. If you didn't question why does Doctor Strange cape have sentence, you can't say a goddamn thing about the fucking magic lasso. Not a motherfucking thing.
It was so weird. Like there's a lot of complaints that I understand. Like the thing with Steve and having the guy's body. Like it doesn't make sense. But the core of these movies, they ask you to suspend disbelief. It's just from movie to movie. It's how much are you asking me to do it? Yeah. And sometimes it's just enough, and sometimes it whatever. But like there are times in this movie where I'm like, huh? Like, what? My biggest complaint with the movie, because I understand the story, I understand the concept, I understand the character, I get it. It makes sense to me. Was fuck, man, it was a paint by numbers sequel that had the villain that wasn't recognized by anybody. It was like, oh god damn it! Like I thought Kristen Wiig was great. I really liked her role. And I was like, oh man, she's gonna turn into Cheetah. She's gonna turn into Cheetah. Like I couldn't wait. But not only did you give me 3 minutes of Cheetah, but the journey to Cheetah was exactly like Jim Carrey as the Riddler, was exactly like Max Dillon as Elektra, was exactly like every other fight, was exactly like the Mandarin in Iron Man 3. The dude, the white. And I'm like, that's my biggest gripe, was you've seen these movies come before. Jim Carrey as the Riddler, it was what it was, right? Okay,
Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey. It's like,
yeah.
all right.
Jamie Foxx being Max Dillon, like it was. but the common theme is that none of the movies are like universally loved, because they're people like, really? The best example is Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman. That was love. That's loved.
You put her in glasses and she was still hot. You failed, but at the same time, it's like,
she's not as fuck.
Yeah, still hot.
With Kristen Wiig, like, you're supposed to be the ugly, frumpy. Now, standing to Diana, yeah, okay. But, like, standing else, like, you're supposed to be the ugly, frumpy chick that nobody, like, pays attention to. Like, I just don't buy it. And that's my biggest gripe, is that it was paint by numbers. I mean, I was getting Spider-Man 3 vibes when she shows up at the White House and she's got the dark makeup and the hair. I'm like, oh fuck, man.
Somebody said, like, what if they did it kind of like where she was in the jungle somewhere and found the stone, and just over the course of the movie, she's slowly transforming the cheetah through the wish or whatever and stuff from the stone. Because it was just kind of weird to me with Cheetah, where it's like, I thought it was going to be like Aquaman, where we see like Ocean Master and this colorful, he looks like the comic and stuff. We saw Black Manta look like the comic, and Cheetah, I was like, she just looks like an extra from Cats. Like, where's the orange boisterous cheetah? Like,
can I also make a note that we can't even have fucking Cheetah be a ginger? Like, what the fuck?
I know, right?
Like, goddamn, this is the ginger genocide is real. Goddamn.
The other thing that threw me off is when she's like, I want to be an apex predator. I'm like, so the stone that is Max Lord, did it look at your outfit and go, oh, you like cheetahs? Like, why didn't it turn into a shark? Why did it turn into a lion? Like, what about another apex predator, a fucking dinosaur?
Yeah,
why did it pick cheetah? Was it based on her outfit? And that's why I'm like, if she had said, I want to be, a cheetah. Okay, cool. But I'm like, if you just throw out apex predator, I'm kind of like, well, you could have been a shark.
Panther.
It could have been all these other things. Like, why did it pick cheetah? Oh, because you're wearing a cheetah print skirt or pants or whatever. There's things like that where I'm like, you're kind of asking me a little bit. You're asking a little bit much here, but it doesn't ruin the experience for me.
I mean, they kind of hyped up that gold armor, and I'm like, so Cheetah just takes out the gold armor like it's just nothing. I'm like, well, damn, that sucks.
Yeah, Army can't take it out, but she just slaps the wings off.
And another thing I was wondering, like, okay, so I don't know if, so I picture they're gonna use the version of Barbara Ann Minerva where she's a fucking con woman.
Instead of scientist, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, there's like what 4 different versions of Barbara that they've used in DC Comics. Like,
yeah, there are a couple of different cheetahs. There's Priscilla, Barbara, and I always forget the third chick's name.
There a dude too?
Yeah, there was a dude for a short minute.
Yeah.
Again, I forget their fucking names. I just know Priscilla and Barbara because they're the 2 most famous.
Barbara's the one that they used in like different variations of the cartoons and movies and stuff, like the cartoon animated movies.
So like I'm thinking they were setting it up for the Greg Rucker version, sort of kind of where Cheetah was a con woman and she befriended Diana to get, information about them and scare her in power. And so Diana felt betrayed, and I thought they were gonna lean, more heavily into her relationship. But once they introduce Maxwell Lord, like Cheetah just becomes like she runs off and does her own little fucking movie. Like it doesn't have that much interaction with Diana.
Becomes the bodyguard of Maxwell Lord in this movie.
Yeah, I'm like, that's kind of strange. Which, again, I guess that's a trope of comic book movies where you have more than one villain, when they're, vying for screen time or whatever. But I feel like she was so disconnected from everything going on. That is like going back to what Joe was saying, like her motivation, especially like why did she pick Cheetah? A lot of that was kind of like, lost in the sauce.
Yeah, I mean, look, I love Maxwell Lord because he fits that 80s motif of like, because it's funny, like, I think the dude that told him in the office that he was a grifter, it's like, I never felt Maxwell in this movie was like purposely a grifter. It was just one of those, he had ideas and it just didn't work out.
Yeah, like that scene when he was talking to his son, he's like, your dad's not a loser. I was like, oh no, baby, your daddy's a loser. That's so sad.
It's so sad. So sad.
Oh, poor baby. And so, like, help me out, guys. Help me out. So, like, a lot of people are comparing this version of Maxwell Lord to Donald Trump. Now, I know that Donald Trump is the atypical. Like, look, I know he's the atypical 80s businessman, and I get that, but like, not all evil 80s businessmen are Donald Trump. So, like, can y'all help me connect those dots, please?
I couldn't connect the dots. Initially, I was like, Donald Trump. I was like, all right, I guess if you want to say he's a businessman with a bad toupee, I guess maybe.
Well, I mean, sure, okay, that tracks.
I looked at it like this: like Donald Trump. Not every 80s businessman is Donald Trump, but Donald Trump is every 80s businessman.
Oh, yes, he is.
Okay. I definitely agree with that.
And, I mean, I get the comparisons that they were making Maxwell Lord, but it's like, just because he's got blonde hair, he's, whatever. But I looked at it like Pedro Pascal is playing an 80s villain. And it's great. Oh, yeah. To me, this movie, she didn't just set it in the 80s. She kind of shot it like it was in the 80s, except obviously it's 4K. It's, like you just said, like the mall scene, the robbers breaking into it's like, it's straight out of an 80s movie. Like, name one 80s movie that you watch now and you're not like, holy shit. There's some cheese in it because it's the 80s, and things didn't have to make sense. So when you look at Wonder Woman through that lens of like, the first one was a kind of gritty, hardcore, I mean, it was focusing on World War I and the death of that entire village that they saved. And, this and that. It's like, it was reflective of the time. And this one was reflective of the time. And people were like, it's so cheesy. And I'm like, but it's supposed to be cheesy. It's supposed to be cheesy. It's in the 80s and it's Wonder Woman. And she's basically winning the day through compassion and love. Like, not everybody's gonna like it. They want
so fucking refreshing.
Yeah, so refreshing. They want to see her punch, which I get, and like I would have loved to see more physical action with her. It's like I went back and watched the first one like 2 days before I saw this one, and I'm like, dude, all her and Ares did was throw shit at each other.
Yes, also that's all they did. It is like, yeah, that really wasn't much of a fight. It was just like, oh, well, Ares is there.
I'm gonna throw it at you. I'm gonna throw these knives at you. I'm gonna throw this at you. as much as people are complaining, I will take Cheetah over Ares any day of the week.
Oh, the Cheetah fight was slightly better. I will give it that. It was like, all right.
If you're comparing third acts, this one has a better third act. Yeah.
When he goes like this, when he gets the helmet, I'm like, cool, perfect. Leave the helmet on, right? But when he goes like this and he splits it down the middle and you see his mustache, I'm like, fuck.
The mustache is what throws me off. It's like, I just need to see the eyes. Don't even show the mustache. Like, nope, mustache. I was like, oh, come on, man. So you don't gotta do that, you know. So I would say this, like, if it was another one too, the running sequence with Diana in that desert. I was sitting up there watching it, and I was like, okay, so I get what they were trying to do, and it was tough for me to really move past it because, like I said, we came off Civil War where we saw Cap and Black Panther running, and it looked like they were legit running, and it took me a minute. I was like, why does it look like she's running on a treadmill this whole time? It threw me off. Just like, I think that was the only sequence where she was running. It threw me off a little bit and stuff. Like I didn't mind the sequence overall, but it was like,
you know what? I kind of agree with you because like a lot of the action scenes for me felt like she didn't have any weight. Like everything felt kind of floaty. But I just like talked up in my mind like, oh well, Diana's graceful and sure, let it slide.
Yeah, because when she's running on the street, when she's getting her powers back, I was like, okay, that's a legit run. It looks like she's actually running. But it was just that sequence. I was like, why she's running on a treadmill a little bit? Like, all right, cool.
I was like Captain America and Black Panther are human. They're enhanced humans, but they're human, right? So when they run, they can only run, fast, or they're not human anymore. And it's like the Flash in the TV show. When you see him run, it's fucking stupid. Because it's supposed to be so fast. Like, how would your legs wouldn't look like your legs when you're running that fast? And I've always chalked it up to like, okay, she's a god, basically. She's running. She just runs faster than we can she's not quite the Flash, obviously, but she runs fast. Captain America. And then I kind of interpret it as, oh, this is the precursor to her flying, because like he just said, like she's kind of weightless, and maybe there's kind of an element of her running, but like or whatever. But also, dude, she got some long ass legs. Like
I keep forgetting how tall she is. I was like, damn, she is kind of like, was it 5'10", 5'11", or something like that?
Yeah, she's running in wedges, which is impressive. But
yeah, I mean, I think the concept. You know what it is? It also threw me off too. I'm going to get those jokes off when it comes to this movie. I got a good laugh out of it. I was like, oh, she's flying. I wonder where that was at in BVS and Justice League. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Just keep it flying.
I saw that too, and my rationale for that is, okay, you're right. And this one felt more like a side adventure, not like a. But if you're Clark Kent and you have lived your entire life with this set of powers, you got heat vision, flight, yada yada yada. Do you heat up a cup of coffee every single time with heat vision, or do you use a coffee maker? You know what I mean? Like, always.
That's the thing I had when people ask about, like, well, why does she need the invisible jet in this movie if she's going, yada yada yada, and I'm like, well, why do you need a car if you have legs? Like, what the fuck? Come on.
Not, like have him go piggyback on her.
You know what though? I wish that she explained it. Like when she said that her father her father did that, and I was like, hold up, back it up, Diana. Like, I need you to kind of explain, like, yo, your father is the one that hit Themyscira. I like to know more about this. Like, I really like to know more about this. I was like, hey, can we see something?
They already did. It was in the first movie. They talked about it.
Did they though? I thought the way they explained it in the first movie, I don't even remember they mentioned like he was the one that actually made it invisible, unless I missed it.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, didn't they mention that Zeus? You watched it more recently, Joe? Didn't they say Zeus hit the island?
Using the last of his power, he created the God Killer, which is Diana, and then he hid Themyscira from humanity.
Okay, all right. Because I was like, I must have, my bad. Then.
When she was doing one of these, I'm like, what the fuck is she? Then she did this. I like how she's like, I've never done it bigger than a coffee cup. Here's a jet.
It's like doing the Mr. Miyagi technique for a hot second. I was like, okay, so what are we doing? All right, cool.
But you know, like it's cool. Who cares?
Yeah, I mean, clearly it isn't a consistent thing. So I was like, all right, cool, that works. I'll take the invisible jet and stuff like that. You know, I'll say this as a DC native. This is a very fictional movie because I barely saw any black people in DC. That's like, sorry,
I've heard.
I'm just sitting there like, there should be more black people in DC. There was about 75% black people in DC in the 80s. I lived in this area for a long time. I'm like, man, it's kind of disturbing a little bit, just a little bit.
Marion, wasn't he the?
I don't think he was. He? I think he was. I want to say he was.
The funniest thing I heard was somebody was like, dude, of all the black people I saw in the movie, not a single one of them had a Jerry curl.
Thank you. I know, right?
I'm like, shit, they did it. Because people were like, where the fuck was his hairstyle? You know what I mean? Like, where was the Jerry curl? Where was the perm? And I'm like, fuck, I didn't see one.
Dude,
like,
the thing that got again, this is just me because, again, I'm observing these things, right? This is the 80s. You put them in the Metro. Everything that station looked exactly like how it was in the 80s because, to be honest, Metro hasn't really much changed in terms of its look visually inside the stations and stuff. So it's like, all right. But then there's a scene where they're waiting for the train and there's a green and yellow line. I'm like, yeah, there was no green and yellow line in the 80s. You could have just digitally took that out and I would have been fine. But you kept that in there. And I'm like, yeah, don't do that. You can't show that movie to a DC native and think that that's going to fly. It's going to be like, there was no green line in the 80s, guys. Don't do that, please. For the love of God.
You know what I did enjoy seeing home looks like. You know what I mean?
Say that again.
I said one of the things that like a lot of these movies have done, I think Captain America done it. I mean, obviously Iron Man did it, but like I like seeing the character go home.
Yeah.
Like what their home looks like, and what is Diana when she comes in and she takes the tiara off or whatever. It's like, you know what I mean? Like I like seeing that. I like seeing like, oh, this
home life, just chilling.
Like the pictures that she had, I thought were really cool. The chief with the guys at Auschwitz and Etta Candy. You know, I thought that was a nice touch.
I kind of wish they went full tilt on Diana and Barbara having a relationship. That would be nice. Like an actual, like, what if they actually hooked up?
You know what's funny though is when there's that picture of her in front of Trevor Ranch. Did she make Trevor Ranch, or was Trevor Ranch a thing?
I want to say maybe Trevor Ranch was a thing. I'm assuming it was.
Because I thought that she like bought a ranch and then made it in a ranch. That was my assumption. But then when he looked at the picture, he didn't even flinch. So I'm like, that's a weird reaction if somebody named a ranch after you. So I'm assuming, I guess now it must have been a thing, you know, his family owned or whatever. But even still, I enjoyed seeing the little knickknacks that she had on the shelf, and you know, the fact that she mentioned she doesn't own a TV, I thought was interesting.
That was funny. I gotta admit that, like, I think with like we have to like really give Pedro Pascal his flowers because that man has been like doing everything, whether it's Mandalorian and this, and you know, he owned this role just as much as anything and stuff. And he, like the way, because I would never expect, you know, I didn't think Maxwell was actually going to do the thing where he was going to make himself take the stone powers. I wasn't expecting that because I thought he was just going to keep using the stone and stuff. And I was like, oh, he made himself the stone. All right, I can work with that.
In the comics, doesn't he develop like mind control or some shit at some point?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess it's a derivative of, you know.
I thought they were actually going to lean in that direction. Like somehow, once he gave up the powers at the end, he was going to have like some residuals. Like he was going to get like mind control powers, I guess, afterwards and stuff. Which I think that's probably another thing. I was like, would have been nice to see some resolution to what happened to Maxwell Lord, because it's like he renounces his wishes, and I'm like, so does he go to jail?
Yeah, and also, is it just me, or did it seem like at the end, like the cheetah thing looked a little green screen when it revealed that she survived?
She closed her ears like she didn't want to renounce the wish, and I'm like,
What that was the end of Jurassic Park Fallen Kingdom, where those dinosaurs look over that fucking town.
I'm sorry, that is peak. That oh my god, don't get me started on that movie.
And like my thing with that was like it would have made more sense if Diana was with her in that moment, because that would have been a Diana thing to do.
It would have.
Well, it's weird because like they don't show Cheetah renounce her wish, so because in the comic, I believe at some point she's able to shift from human to Cheetah, you know, or a version of Cheetah is able to do that. So like, is she still super strong? Can she shift her appearance? She didn't renounce her wish, but obviously Maxwell Lord, you know, the core of it. And, you know, I saw people going, you know, oh, you know, Diana convinces the world. And I'm like, but they don't say that everybody renounces their wish. So let's say 5 billion people renounce their wish. There's still 2 billion people approximately that didn't renounce their wish, which could lead to their villains being created, or, you know, it's like they just want these answers so definite that they can't stand anything that's kind of vague.
Yeah. I mean, I'll take the vagueness and stuff. It threw me off for a minute. I was like, so Max meets his son, but there's no jail time, nothing. All right.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna assume that because, like you said, Max was the source. When he renounced his wish, it took all the wishes back, even though that they thematically had to show some people as well voluntarily giving up the wish just to keep up with the theme of the movie.
I mean, just think about it like this. You really think anybody is like, hey, I want to be a millionaire? You think they want to renounce their wish? They're going to probably be like, nope. I ain't renouncing
I'm not hurting nobody with my damn grilled cheese sandwich. What are you talking about, Diana?
I mean, because, yo, I ain't going to lie. When that dude told his wife to drop dead and she died, I was like, holy shit. Like, whoa, she actually died. Like, holy shit. Like, okay, wow. Huh.
I think, like, I think that part, if I'm reading into it correctly, it's like, I wish the DC movies would be like Aquaman was a contained story. It wasn't trying to set up this and that and this and that. Yeah. I wish Joker's its own thing. This felt like it was kind of backdoor setting stuff up because, again, you know, 90% of the world renounced their wish. You still have that 10% that didn't, which is a shitload of people, which then could open the door for different villains being created, or, you know, whatever. Now you have the Flash coming out, whatever, setting up the idea of a multiverse. To me, this kind of it kind of in a way kicked off the idea of a multiverse to me, because I'm like, well, you have, let's say, 1 billion people.
Yeah,
they're gonna wish for some crazy ass shit. You know, like she basically wished Steve back into existence. Well, in our universe, he's dead. So she basically kind of created like a multiverse where he's alive, but he's in this guy's body. How many other people did that? And how many other people, you know, did things that would kind of like borrow from this universe? You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, the Arab guy was like, I want my country to be separate from everybody else. And then boom, a giant ass wall pops up. I'm like, oh shit. Like, okay. Like, wow. That's amazing.
Like, I think it'll take a couple of years for them to explain how the consequences of this movie are going to affect the greater DCEU, or what it's called. You know, like, I don't think that this is. I guess what I'm saying is, like, it was weird to me, and then in one sense, I felt like it was its own little side adventure. Like, okay, this has nothing to do with Batman or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, it's just her whimsical 80s adventure. Like, all right.
It's her doing her own little 80s adventure, but then the ending kind of made it a lot broader than I thought it would. Like, interpreting it wrong, it was like, okay, well, that could lead into the Flash. I mean, if Area is still out there, like, you know, it was just kind of a weird, like, oh, I thought this was going to be a lot more than it ended up being.
Yeah, I mean, for us, you know, it's also for as colorful as the movie was, I was kind of disappointed. Like, the final third act was like, this is kind of very toned down on the color a little bit. I wish it was a little bit more just vibrant, a little bit, you know. But...
Dude, I couldn't see it on my TV.
Okay, see, I thought it was just me because I was like, am I tripping? Do I need to up the brightness on this TV? I'm like, man, it is kind of dark as shit. Like,
dude, we have a fucking 70-inch 4K TV, all rated and all that bullshit, right? Everything else looks great. And I'm sitting there like, what the fuck is that? Like, is that her? You know, is she flipping? Is she swing? Like, it was hard to see. And I think they did that to hide CGI. You know what I mean? To hide maybe the fact that she did. Yeah.
I mean, I saw the jokes where it was like, it looked like Godard was fighting old girl from Cats, and I was like, damn, that's fucked up.
Not wrong.
I mean, yeah, you know, which, side note, so Linda Carter, I guess she's officially part of this whole Wonder Woman movie franchise.
I love it. She still looks good.
I mean, yeah, I was just like, oh, so her character is alive and well. Like, so is she going to be in Wonder Woman 3?
I know. Was that just a throwaway cameo because they couldn't get her in the first movie? Or is she going to be a mentor to Diana? I don't know.
Because you don't just, you know, prevent a child from getting killed holding up a telephone pole and then just shrug it off. Like, you kind of have to, you know, jump on that plot point a little bit. Just saying. Just, that would be nice.
I mean, with her mentioning she looked for Asteria for years and found her armor, I hope that's something that they kind of cultivate in the next one with like a mentor. I don't want to see her turn bad. I don't want to see that shit.
Oh, no. I mean,
I'd rather her, you know, because even in this movie, like some of the stuff that Diana wore is straight out of that TV show. Straight out of it.
Yeah.
They're so far into like, okay, this is the modern. I don't know, man. Like, I took the movie as like a modern day Linda Carter TV show. And
it really was, because they focus a lot on lesser on the action and more on the dramatic front.
And that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm okay. It's you know, I mean, it's
I think because I think a lot of people, because if the New 52 and even Rebirth stuff, we're used to, if you read those books, you're used to Diana fighting goblins and like, you know, gods and stuff. So it's like, we want to see that, which is understandable because, you know, you want to see her doing stuff. But at the same time, it's like, drama isn't bad, you know, and stuff, you know.
But then honestly, man, if she does that, then she just becomes Thor.
I mean, the first movie was kind of like Thor / First Avenger-esque a little bit and stuff, to be fair. So, yeah.
It was, but if you have her start fighting, that's why I didn't like Ares. I'm like, fuck, man, okay. Like, aside from the mustache, I'm like, God damn it. You know. But if we're going to, you know, Themyscira or wherever and fighting fucking Hades, or I'm like, it becomes Thor Ragnarok. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is cool. I like it. But she's so different than Thor in that he's, you know, he's kind of that hothead, arrogant, blah, blah, blah. And she's the exact opposite of him. And I like, it's like, leave her alone. Like, let her fucking fight with her lasso.
Yeah.
And let her win the day with compassion. I mean,
yeah. I mean, that, like I said, the whole mall fight and stuff, it was such a week in an eye because you got that little girl like, what is going on here? Like, oh, Wonder Woman. All right, cool. And bam, everybody's like perked up like this person is actually out here saving, and that earnestness and everything is just right there in full effect.
Yeah, can I also note that I'm so glad she wasn't cracking fucking quips?
You know what? I have a feeling Patty wanted to have her do that and then thought better of it. Because there was a couple of moments where I'm like, that would have been a quip right there. Okay, we're just doing a wink. All right, cool. We'll just do that.
Yeah, I mean, then, you know, who's to say that? I know that Gal said she didn't shoot any additional scenes for Justice League on HBO, but who's to say that the stuff that film that was cut out doesn't tie better into this movie, you know, than we know. It's like, just because she didn't film additional scenes doesn't mean that everything that we've seen that's just it.
Yeah, I think Zack said I mean, Zack Snyder did kind of help produce this movie and stuff, so I'm assuming he had a hand in certain things and stuff in this film to a degree, so that would
Yeah. I remember reading something where Patty said that she didn't have that many deleted scenes from the first movie or this movie because everything that she shot, she intended to use, which on one hand, I respect. On the other hand, somebody get this lady an editor because she needs one badly.
Oh yes, you know it was funny because the Russos did the same thing because somebody had asked them because if you buy the Winter Soldier on Blu-ray, that movie only had like 4 deleted scenes total for that movie, and they said the same thing. It was like, hey, look, when we made this movie, like we weren't trying to like film everything. Like everything that we film is exactly the way we film it, and if we did have a deleted scene, it just didn't work for the story that we were telling. Because, like I said, it was supposed to be a Cap versus Hawkeye scene when he's running away from S.H.I.E.L.D., and they didn't feel it was going to fit, in terms of like the timing of the movie and where they put it at. It just wouldn't fit the movie, so they just abandoned doing that and stuff. And I think there's like a storyboard scene of that whole fight and stuff. And I'm like, that would have been cool, but it wouldn't have fit timing-wise for what they're doing. And I got to imagine it's probably the same thing with Wonder Woman. But yeah, the editing, just tighten it up a bit, Patty. Hopefully you can do that in the third movie. That would be nice.
The pacing wasn't the best.
Did this movie really need to be 2.5 hours?
No. No.
Because it could have been an easy 2 hours and it would have been fine.
She cut it down by 30 minutes. Well, here's the thing. You have 4 stories going at the same time. Wonder Woman's obviously going to get the most. But I felt like Cheetah got less than Steve, but Cheetah's. And I like seeing Chris Pine back because I think he's great, and I like the juxtaposition of him being the fish out of water. Like their chemistry together is really good. But did it need that long? Could it have been, like you said, she has to make this decision where if she keeps Steve, she basically kills this other guy.
Yeah.
And then you have Cheetah, who to me, I'm assuming she'll show up in the third movie.
Got to.
Okay. But she was the most underserved of all of them.
Yeah, because it was kind of like over the course of the movie until she heel turned, you were kind of wondering, I'm like, what did she give up? Because throughout the whole movie, she was enjoying the fact that she was beautiful. And I did find that whole gym sequence pretty funny when she was just lifting up the barbells like it was nothing and stuff like that. I thought that was actually pretty hilarious, honestly.
Can I say, Christian, I wasn't ready. You caught me off guard. I'll be ready next time.
So it was like you were wondering, what did she lose? And then boom, all of a sudden, heel turn, boom, she's an asshole now. And I'm like, so she kills the guy that was trying to follow her in the park now, just out the blue. Like, all right, well, did she kill him?
She didn't kill him. She
just
fucked him up real good.
Yeah.
A would-be rapist? Like, okay.
Yeah. It's like, oh, she lost her humanity. All right, cool. And you know what? That's probably why they went with the Apex Predator line. But even then, I was like, so the Wish Stone can grant wishes twice with the same person?
That's a good question. Because when she fucked up dude, I'm like, if she would have fucked up the other homeless guy, then that I could have seen her lose her humanity because she's her like a friend. But she fucked up and tried to physically assault her. Like
justified?
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And then she got kind of sassy and was like, no, I'm not going to do that. And that's her losing her humanity. Like,
I mean, I was fine with her going after Diana in the White House just off the strength of like, hold up, if you take out him, I'm going to lose my powers. I don't like that. And it's like, all right, that's pretty simple. I'm fine with that and stuff. But it was just like, so she just rolls to the White House like it ain't nothing. All right, cool. Sure. Let's. Yeah. I mean, she put hands on Diana, which I was like, all right, this was coming. I'm fine with this.
Yeah. So, again, like I went back and watched certain scenes, and I'm like, overall, I enjoyed it. Like I had a good time, but I can understand some of the complaints, and I have my own like, that was fucking weird. But I'm sure you guys heard that they're fast tracking rather the third one.
Oh yeah. I figured that was going to happen. I mean, it's. I mean, look, as soon as they gave Patty and Gal Gadot their money, once this went to streaming, I'm like, oh yeah, they're getting a third one. They're locked in because you're not gonna.
I bet that was part of it.
Yeah, probably. It's like, hey, look, we're gonna put it on HBO Max, but we'll give you your third movie. And it's like,
Yeah.
All right, cool. I mean, Patty double dipping like James Gunn is like, yeah, I'm gonna do this Rogue Squadron movie, and then I'll be back for Wonder Woman 3, and then we're good to go. So it's like, all right.
Let her do it. The fuck.
It's like be done with it and stuff. I'm kind of, you know what? I will say this. I am curious on whether her third movie is going to emphasize Themyscira a little bit more, other than beyond just flashbacks and stuff. Because it would be nice to see like what's the state of Themyscira like after Steppenwolf like botched it all up and stuff. You know, like how's that world now? Like,
I will say they'll have a huge missed opportunity if Artemis is not in the movie.
That would, yeah, they would have to. They would have to. I mean, and also you already got Titans with Wonder Girl, so it's like, so are the movies going to try to put Wonder Girl in it in some way, shape, or form?
Did you hear that the new Wonder Girl that's for Future State, or Future State?
Yeah, Future State.
She is going to have her. She's being developed for a TV show already, and I'm like,
really?
We haven't even seen one panel of this chick. What the fuck?
It's
she
like
might be a garbage character. What the fuck?
Like you already set up Wonder Girl to probably get revived in was it Titan season 3? Yeah, season 3. It is like, so, but we're getting a new one. What?
I think it's gonna be on CW. I think it's Berlanti. It's a Berlanti joint.
Goddamn Berlanti.
I'm like, sure, okay, Greg.
It's a.
Hold on, what you say?
It's the Brazilian one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah, the Brazilian one. Hey, look, I guess diversity, cool. I mean, sure, fine.
I mean, she's got a cool costume, but she might be a shit character. We don't know this lady from His Girl Friday, so what the fuck?
I don't know, Prime. I got hurt after fucking Future's End, so I'm not putting stock in the Future State. I'm sorry. It's just I was hurt. You had me hyped for Mr. Terrific being like Lex Luthor bad guy, and it's like, oh, it doesn't exist now? You suck, DC. I hate you.
Yeah, and they blatantly said this one already is like, this is a possible what the future could look like while we restructure and shrink our line. Shh, pay no attention to what we're doing behind this curtain. Pay no attention at all.
Hey guys, Black Batman didn't exist. I'm like, really? All right, DC. Sure, cool, gotcha.
Like I said, I'll let y'all cook. Go ahead.
Isn't the Flash I can, and you guys, you got to forgive me. I'm not sure I know the terminology, but gender fluid.
Yes, I believe so. There's a new
Wally
Flash. No, it's a brand new Flash.
For Future State, not quadriplegic, paraplegic.
I don't know about that.
So if you look at the artwork,
wait, that's right. The one with I'm sorry, you're right. The legs.
And I saw the character without the helmet or the mask, and you couldn't tell. They said that it's I think it's gender fluid. Is that correct?
Non-binary, I believe.
I gotta be honest with you. They're doing a Flashpoint movie. I'm looking at WB like, you know what, WB? You want my money? Go all in like that animated movie and have Wonder Woman and Arthur Curry actually hook up and get that Mirror and Wonder Woman fight going. You got my money. You got my money. I'm in.
Well, it actually looks like from what I think of, or what I'm hearing about the movie, just more or less sounds like Barry Allen's Excellent Adventure, where he's like hopping from world to world.
It's like, I'm teaming up with 89 Batman. All right, cool. It's like, all right, that's what's up and stuff. That's another thing. It's like somebody brought up the aspect of everything that happened in this movie. I'm like, so if everything happened in this movie, you mean to tell me Batman didn't figure that shit out and nobody figured it out? I'm like, well, once it got to the end and everybody just kind of forgot Maxwell Lord did all that stuff. I mean, it just kind of worked out.
I'll play devil's advocate for a second. So like when the movie starts up, like they try their best to show that she's trying to remain hidden, like going through the city at super speed, like Kingdom Come Flash. When she gets to the mall, she tries to take out all the cameras so no one sees her. But then she's standing there in broad ass daylight in that red and blue ass armor. And I know it's not the 2000s. There's no cell phones, but you mean to tell me there wasn't a camera shack? Nobody
somebody from the Washington Post and snap a picture.
No, none of them kids at the arcade thought to get a disposable camera real quick. Okay, sure. And then at the end, to be fair, also she wasn't on camera with Max. They only heard her voice. They didn't see her, so she could have been random as anybody. But it felt like they were trying to have their cake and eat it too.
Yeah, because it's not like I was trying to find something, but it's just one of those you sit back like. But they made it very much clear cut in BVS. Like Batman, she was like, "Yo, I stayed hidden since World War One," and it's like,
we have very different definitions of what that word means, Diana.
Yeah, so it's like I'll give you the leeway movie that she was, because I think a lot of people got thrown off like, why she's destroying cameras. I was like, oh no, she's trying to stay hidden. Like, all right, fine, cool. I get that. I take that continuity a little bit great and stuff.
Yeah, you know what? I'll let that shit slide because y'all remember back in the 90s when they were trying to tell us that Batman was an urban legend, where they're like,
yeah,
people are like, oh, we don't know if Batman is real. Really, DC Comics. You mean to tell me like Batman's running around? They think he's an urban legend on the goddamn Hall of Justice, standing shoulder to shoulder. Eat my ass. Fuck out of my face with that shit.
Oh my god, yo! You know what was funny? Because somebody brought up another thing. Like, he's like, "Can you imagine if Wonder Woman 84 had like a scene where Bruce wants to wish his parents back or some shit like that?" That would be very touchy. That would be very touchy if they did that.
Well, I'll say this. This movie also had one of the most realistic shit I've ever seen in my fucking life, where Max goes to the White House and he asks the president, "What do you want?" And the president goes, "Well, I have all these people in all these countries, all this conflicts coming up. I only wish they'll just listen. So I wish for nuclear weapons." I'm like, that's the most realistic political thing I've ever
American shit ever.
That's the most American shit I've ever seen in my life. Okay, then. Instead of wishing for, I don't know, peace.
World peace.
To listen? To talk? Yeah. Oh, okay, sure.
Hold up. So did Max actually need them to touch him to do it, or is it just a case of they have to say "I wish"? Because that was the only confusing aspect of it. Because I got kind of thrown off a little bit. I was like, does he need them to touch him, or
both? I believe it was both. Like the person had to declare a wish, and he, being Max Aurora, was guiding them to say what he wanted them to say.
Okay, all right. Because somebody was saying if he needed people to touch him, how was he able to go on TV? And I was like, I don't think he needed to touch them. But
yeah, they kind of sort of explained it in that scene where they made that satellite sound like Brother Eye.
Yeah,
where they talked about particle, like, you know what? Like, I'll let you cook. Like, whatever you need to get that end sequence to happen, just go for it. I don't care. Just go.
Yeah. I mean,
that was one of those things where I'm like, you're asking a little bit too much of me right now.
I'm like, something about the part. And I mean, like, when they say touch people, do you mean like literally or do you mean metaphorically?
Yeah, I was like, I need to know.
How does
hearts.
that work?
It's like touching the hearts and minds of people. All right, cool.
Like, like I said, whatever you need to do to cook your stew, just go for it. Sure, whatever.
I got a good laugh out of like Wonder Woman lassoing the rocket to save the kids. I was like, that is very ingenuity of them to do that and stuff. It was just something I would have never thought to do because he's like, Diana, and he shot the rocket. And I was like, oh, that's what he's okay. All right, cool.
Is it bad that at first I was like, is he gonna like blow the kids out the way? Like, what the fuck is
happening? Don't do that, bro. I was thinking a little bit for a second. I was like, no, he ain't gonna kill those kids. No, don't do that.
What's happening? And also, can I say, like, I also really respect the fact that because she wasn't quipping in the action scenes, it seemed like she was treating everyone as equally serious, whether it be the fucking bank robbers, the soldier, or the furry. Like, everyone had her equal attention, so she wasn't like everything was equally. You know what I mean? Like that again was also very fucking refreshing. Where like she treated everything like it's a threat. Like, wow.
I still laugh at those guys at the beginning. I was like, you guys almost pulled out their heist, and the old boy was just bumbling with the fucking gun. I was like,
look,
that is so 80s. That girl screamed to me like, God! I'm like,
if I was that dude's partner, like, I feel so bad for the dude's partner that was trying to play it off all cool. Like, God damn, why you fucking touch me, dude?
I was sitting back for a minute because I was like, why couldn't they put this modern day? And I was like, nah, because if this was modern day and dude dropped a gun, nobody's going to yell gun because a gun is so commonplace in modern times. It's like, he has a gun, whatever, don't care. But it's like, no, if this is the 80s, somebody's going to scream gun because that's not something you just have on yourself just because.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, it wasn't just set in the 80s. It was shot with 80s sensibilities. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's if I went to the mall in the 80s and somebody had a gun, I'd fucking yell gun too. Like, I'd still yell, well, I don't go to the mall anymore, but, if I saw walking around town with a gun and it fell out of their pocket, I'd I have the same reaction now, but I just love how it was like that over the top,
the chaotic nature.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like you've seen every fucking '80s movie. You know, like Terminator. Kind of remind me of Terminator.
Yep. Just rolling up in the mall with a shotgun. I'm like, so all right, cool. Just everybody just losing their minds. It's like that.
All the sunglasses, dressed in all black, and nobody budges only until he fires the shotgun.
Yeah.
The dude holding a shotgun, and you're like, whatever. But when he shoots it, you're like, oh shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
kind of weird. I don't know, but I mean, again, like, would it work in a Batman movie? No, but it works for.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm kind of curious. Like I said, it's weird because it's like with Aquaman, we got Ocean Master and Black Manta, and we got Cheetah, which I'm hoping next movie they improve on the look because it's like, come on, guys, like I know you can do better than this. I know you can. I really feel you can do this. I mean, I'm just saying it's there, but I'm kind of curious, like. Who do you have her fight if you really need to give her like an opponent that's worth a damn?
There's a short list. Off the top of my head, I would either say Cersei, Devastation, Giganta, the Queen of Fables. You can also play into Diana's psyche. I would love to see her go against Dr. Psycho in some shape or some form. Especially if they do it kind of like how Grant Morrison did it in his Wonder Woman Earth 1 graphic novel, where they did like a really good twist and take on Dr. Psycho.
That's crazy too, because like I said, that new Batman movie is pulling a lot from Batman Earth 1, so that would be something if they did pull from Wonder Woman Earth 1. Because I still haven't read Wonder Woman Earth 1, but I heard a lot of people say it's actually not bad.
Oh,
so.
It's really good. Both I highly recommend both volumes. I think the third one either comes out pretty soon, or if not, the middle of next year. Or here's an idea. We can also tie it back to this movie. Like one of the villains that are created through the witch could be Veronica Cale. Or Silver Swan. I mean, like she does. There are plenty of options.
Yeah. I mean, to see what happens and stuff. In my head, I was just like, I wish she could fight the Furies with Big Barda, but that's not gonna happen.
Dude, I can only get so erect. How dare you wish that on me?
I'm just saying, if they fast track that new Gods movie, we can have it. But it's just
I just got a hot flash. Hold on. Oh fuck.
I'm sorry. That animated movie spoiled the shit out of me because I was like, I never knew I needed that fight to happen until I saw that animated movie, and I was like, God damn it, DC, you did
I'll even give you this. Did you see that fucking that superhero girls movie where they fought each other?
Yeah.
Why couldn't you have them in that? Because if Patty Jenkins is saying the third one is going to take place after Justice League, and then Snyder's Justice League cut isn't going to reset everything, but it's going to kind of like, all right, well, this is the Justice League story, and then you have Darkseid in it,
Yeah, maybe you probably could throw Big Barda in it. You're probably right.
I mean, if you're going to bring in Darkseid as the villain, who they showed pictures of him. You're going to have to give us at least some kind of brief explanation of Apocalypse and the New Gods or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
So if 3 takes place after this, like you could, because we're probably not going to get Wonder Woman 3 until what, 23, 24?
Probably 23, 24, because they just announced it. So, whenever her schedule is freed up when they start Rogue Squadron.
Yeah, you have Flashpoint, I mean, you have whatever movies coming out between now and then that could lay the foundation for the New Gods or Apocalypse or Darkseid or Granny Goodness or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. I mean, if you're going to have her go up against somebody, you got to bring Cheetah back and you got to give her a proper story arc and some proper CGI. But Barda, Granny, you know what I mean? Like anything to do with that, like why not? Because if Diana is a god, in my head, wish fulfillment aside, it's like it makes sense to me. I'll watch it.
Yeah,
because one does not have the greatest rogues gallery.
I mean, Cheetah is like Cheetah, as Prime said, Veronica Cale, like a lot of like the gods. Yeah, Giganta and stuff. It's like
Ares. Yeah.
It's like it's not huge and stuff like that. So whenever you do get it like a surprise of like the lesser known Wonder Woman villains, and it's like done well. It's like, oh, I did not know that was a Wonder Woman villain until you're told, and it's like, oh, okay, cool.
That's my point. Because she doesn't have a Joker. I mean, she had, like she has a main villain or whatever villain, but nothing as iconic as the Joker or even Lex Luthor. So you can pull a character from whatever and say, okay, well, they're going to come into this with Cheetah or whoever. It doesn't have to be, oh, this person is exclusively a Wonder Woman villain, therefore they have to be in the third movie.
Well, arguably, her Lex Luthor and Joker, pop culture wise, is supposed to be Cheetah. If you ask people who read the comic books, Cersei is a better fit for that role, but because of the cartoon, people more recognize Cheetah as Diana's arch nemesis.
Yeah, I've always because every other iteration of Cheetah is like, yeah, I'm going after Wonder Woman. It's like, all right, cool.
I always recognize Cheetah as like her, Joker, so to speak. But what I'm saying is like, she's not nearly tied. Batman and the Joker are tied together. Superman are tied together. If I said Wonder Woman, most people don't know. They'll know Cheetah maybe, but that's kind of it.
Yeah.
So you have that room to play with characters coming in other, whatever, to fill the role or to help Cheetah or whatever the fuck. And all I know is I don't want it to be Linda Carter. I don't want her to turn on her. I don't want to see any of that.
Well, see, when they brought in like Simon Stagg, like I sat up in my seat going, are we setting up some Metamorpho in this bitch?
I thought the same thing when he stood up. That fucking Simon Stagg, and then when they named him, like, oh shit!
I was like, Simon Stagg's in there, like, all right, hey, don't be teasing, because then the Arrowverse had Simon Stagg in there too, and I was like, so y'all really just teasing Metamorpho just all around, aren't we? All right,
don't you be teasing me with some fucking outsiders and don't deliver. Don't be playing my emotions like that.
It's like, come on, man, just like, don't do this to me, please, don't blue ball me. All right, movie, don't do this.
I like it though. I like that. I mean, the dude looked like Simon Stagg.
He definitely looked like him. Yeah, that's why I set up like when he said Simon, I was like, that can't be Simon Stagg, could it? And
he had the look, I was like, hair, and I was like, damn it!
It's like, motherfucker, that was Simon Stagg.
That was nice. I like that.
Oh my god! And I mean, it fit. Like, if you look at what he looks like in like the animated series and stuff, and in this movie, it's like they nailed the animated look with that white slick back hair and stuff. I'm like, that's perfect. The black eyebrows. I was like, that's perfect. This is perfect.
And I know that he's not like typically like a Wonder Woman villain, but he's kind of, he's ambiguous. Like, what about like a Maxie Zeus playing on the whole God thing?
Yeah.
Like,
dude, Maxie Zeus would have been dope. Kind of forgot about him.
Just a character like that who's not. He's not like, oh, this is a definitive Batman villain or Flash villain or whatever. It's like, okay, you're playing off that God thing, her relationship to Zeus. If you had a character like Maxie Zeus or even Cheetah or Maxie Zeus grant her the power.
What was that other dude that was in that second Suicide Squad movie? That animated movie. He was the one they went after that had the they were looking for that card that grants immortality. I forgot the dude's name because he had the was he Dr. Fate? Hold on, what did you say?
I know you're talking about. I can't think of the name.
Yeah, he would fit that whole Wonder Woman motif too, to a degree, because he's kind of like a former god, so to speak, kind of thing.
Yeah, I know that they said that Shazam was going to introduce Dr. Fate, but I would have said, why not use a Wonder Woman to bring in like a doctor? Not as a focal point, but
yeah.
Fuck, man. I mean, I don't know if you heard that announcement that DC's like, we're doing 4 movies every year. Sorry. Yeah.
They're trying to make sure that you stay glued to HBO Max by any means.
I'm here for that Green Lantern series, man.
Everybody is.
I've been saying for years, like, they should just lean into that fucking multiverse. Like, I was never a fan of those fucking embargoes they did for like the cartoons and the TV shows. Like, it's okay to have multiple versions of the characters because that's what you've been doing in comics for years. Though I will say this, like, I'm really getting fucking tired of what's the word I want to use here? The hypocrisy a little bit, because I saw that announcement and I saw people on Facebook going like, why are they gonna have 2 Batmans? wasn't like 2 weeks ago, weren't y'all all coming over yourselves over 3 Spider-Men being in the same movie? And like this is something that DC is like fucking famous for doing.
I think it's one of those like for me, I'm not mad at it. I respect it and stuff, but at the same time, it's just kind of like you got a lot of characters, DC. Like, can we branch out past just Batman? Like, can we get somebody else?
I agree with that, but I'm also on the same mind when I'm like, cross over that shit. Give me more of those moments from Crisis on Infinite Earths. I need it in my veins, baby. I need
Steel
it.
Maxim. That's the guy. Steel Maxim.
Okay.
Yeah, him. Yeah, I was thinking about that. But yeah.
Wasn't that the Dr. Fate with the fucking dagger?
Yeah.
I fucking hated that. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I didn't throw it. I was like, Steel Maxim. Yeah, maybe. But yeah, right. It's like, that dude was the killer, Dr. Fate.
It's the lamest. Like, we know how I post on Twitter often how like there is no such thing as a bad Dr. Fate costume. Still, you got me. You broke my rule. You break the goddamn rule.
Hey, yeah. I mean, yeah. They really kind of like what kind of costume was that, sir? I don't get it. It's like if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
You talk about it, motherfuckers like the clown on Cable for looking like extreme 90s. Have you seen Steel Maxim's Dr. Fate?
They clown him because of Rob Liefeld, sir. Let's get that straight right now.
God.
They clown him because of that. That's just straight up. That's what it is and stuff.
Every time I see that fucking Ankh eye tattoo, I lose my shit.
I mean, I will say this. Overall, I just wish, guys, just watch Bad. Look, we just did a franchise month talking about Highlander. Highlander: The Source is literally the worst movie like you will ever watch ever. Like that's a movie that just said, yo, fuck the Highlander mythos top to bottom. Fuck the rules. Like that's bad.
That's a bullshit.
Yeah, like Wonder Woman 84 is not even in the territory of bad. Like if you had expectations, I understand, but it's like, come on, guys, like that shit is not the. They had like Wonderful Woman gave them cancer, and I'm like, what?
Bro,
what?
Not that. It ain't that serious. The movie is. If I had to say anything about the movie, it's like it's just a really average, okay movie, and there's nothing wrong with that, like at all.
Like I said again, do I wish it hit those highs that Aquaman did for me? Sure, that would be nice. That would definitely be 100% nice. But it's like, hey, look, it went drama, and that's fine. We'll see what the third one brings. Because, like you said, Joey, if it's taking place at the Justice League, all right, cool. We're in modern times. Let's see something stuff.
And you know, I also see a lot of people complaining, saying that like Maxwell Lord and Cheetah had like more screen time than Diana, and I'm like, yes, because like that's a superhero trope. Like Batman Returns, Batman was not the main character of that movie.
Penguin and Catwoman and Christopher Walken, the whole movie. That's all it is, and Bruce is just there chilling.
That tends to happen. That tends to happen sometimes because a lot of the times in these things, the villains are there, the driving force, and it's the hero that stands and goes, "Nah, you can't have that."
The Dark Knight. I mean, that was a Joker movie.
Oh yeah, it was Joker the movie. Like straight up. Like,
you know, the funny thing is like everybody's stuck at home for one reason or another, and you know they released Wonder Woman on HBO Max, and I mean I miss going to the movies. Like I like that theatrical because the theaters out here, you know, they're recliners. And I'm like, fucker, guys are complaining about watching a big budget movie from the comfort of your home on Thursday. It kind of just shows me how fucking bored people are and how
they need hobbies, Joe. You know that, right? They just need hobbies, clearly.
Dude, I'm like, you know, like I watched Wonder Woman and I think I tweeted like, I enjoyed it. I mean, it's not perfect, but it doesn't have to be. It's not as good as the other one, but it doesn't have to be. I enjoyed it for what it was. Fuck, man, it was free. You know what I mean?
It was like, son, hey, can't be free.
In a year where we didn't see shit. The last movie I saw in theaters was The Invisible Man in February. So almost a year ago.
I saw Tenet at a drive-thru. I keep telling people like that was like I went to a drive-thru theater and they showed Tenet. That was like the last one I actually saw in the actual like kind of theater setting was Tenet. And that was actually a fun experience. That was a fun experience to a degree.
But I mean, like the thing is like, so you know, you're getting all this content for free and this and this, and like it doesn't mean you have to like it because it's free. I'm taking it so fucking seriously.
At least you didn't pay $13 IMAX tickets for Wonder Woman. I'm just saying, like, you know.
The woman, I was talking to her about this, and she has a theory. She feels like it wasn't people's problem wasn't the movie. Like, well, she thinks like it's the audience, not the movie. Like people are just it's the COVID situation as well as like the message of the movie about, you know, the truth and sacrifice. And she says like, you know, we all see people are like allergic to that shit online. Like,
I mean, getting the movie outright during that whole Themyscira thing, like old girl literally tells her like, yo, like the cheating, yeah, like no, that's not good. You know,
yeah, like that's a good message to have. Like, yeah, you could win, but at what cost? Like, what does that cost you?
Well, I mean, it's like what's the price you pay for the things that you desire?
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, in a COVID world, I mean, desire to go out and do
when
whatever.
people are desiring wanting to go to bars and shit and not wear their face masks, you know. So I think I can kind of see what she was saying about like it's not the movie, it's the audience. They're rejecting that message. And I can kind of see that.
No, I mean I agree with that, and I dude, it just cracks me up. Like the thing that I've tried to do, anything comes out on streaming, especially this year. You know, you go out there, you post your thoughts, you go, I liked it, whatever, and then people jump, how could you fuck? And you're just like, hey, I don't need to fuck. Like Warner Brothers is a pain.
I mean, I would like them to give me money because I've been giving them my money for years.
Hey, look, the check clears. I'm still gonna be like, yeah, Wonder Woman was okay. Check cleared, so it's good.
But it's like I'm not bored to where I need to argue over Wonder Woman. Like, you know what I mean? A free fucking movie that I watch from my couch. Like, I don't need to argue about it.
Yeah, like I posted on Twitter, like arguing about a magic lasso was not a hill worth dying on.
No, bro, that was my thing. It's like, to me, again, I said this before. If I can accept a talking tree, if I can accept a talking raccoon, if I can accept a shield ricocheting and not killing somebody, because I watched Winter Soldier, I love that movie. I'm surprised Cap didn't kill them dudes on that goddamn boat with that shield, but whatever. That's a different story altogether, right? It's a magic lasso that tells the truth. I expect it to have a layer of like, all right, it's going to do that. Cool. I'm fine with it. That's cool.
Like I saw somebody said that, okay, the swinging on lightning, that was a little too much by comic book standards. And I'm like, no, that's 1000% comic book.
It's all comic book.
I mean, 100% comic book. What are you saying?
Is it ridiculous? Sure. But you know what?
That's the fucking point. It's supposed to be ridiculous. What the fuck?
No, if I want to be fair, if I'm being honest with myself, me personally, I'm just speaking for myself here. That Snyder Cut comes out, I'm getting them jokes off. I forewarned everybody about this. I'm getting them jokes off in that Snyder Cut movie. I'm just telling people right now, the jokes are going to be flying all day on that. I'm just saying. So you've been warned, people. There will be jokes flying on the Snyder Cut.
I can't fucking wait.
I'm just like, hey, Zach, this shit better be better than what you were fucking you were hyping up, man. We'll be very disappointed if it ain't.
If it sucks, it was free.
That's my attitude. That's why I'm like, I'm just gonna get them jokes off. It's like, you know what? I didn't pay money in theaters for this. It's HBO Max.
You know what? Right. Honestly, I don't think that anything can be as bad as what Joss Whedon did. And then to hear that he was fucking, whatever.
Josh Whedon on set.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the thing. That's why I think that whole Ray thing was like overblown. Because I'm pretty sure everybody but Ray knew the jig with Joss Whedon, so they didn't give a shit. It was like, it's Josh being Josh.
That's why I'm surprised. Whatever. I'm like, I thought we all knew Josh was a piece of shit when Cordelia and
you know full well Gal and Ben and all of them were like, oh yeah, we've been in this business for a long time. We know we've been around Josh's before. We're fine with this. And Ray is just like, you guys are not mad? Nah, we're good. We've been around this.
Like,
we're good.
Like he tried to get me to do a Teddy scene, and I said, hell no.
It's like, no, fuck you. I'm Ben Affleck. What are you talking about? It's like they knew the jig. Henry knew the jig. Henry was like, dude, I'm Superman. What's Josh gonna tell me? Nothing.
What's Josh gonna tell me? I got the wish to put off my nuts.
At the end of the day, man, it looks like Ray Fisher. I mean, he kind of won the day.
I don't even know if it's one because it was so the statement from WB was so like just it was just so plain because it's like, so did anybody get reprimanded? Because it's just
he got that show he was doing. What was that show that's going to be on HBO Max? It's like Buffy except in Victorian times. What's the fuck?
Yeah. So I'm like, did anybody did Josh? I mean, because it just felt like that statement from WB just felt like WB did this to Josh. Don't do that again.
I mean, the show was developing for like 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that was the punishment. Josh is like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. Maybe I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure Josh is still sleeping on his Buffy money. I don't think he gives a shit at this point.
I don't think. Yeah,
he ain't caring. So I mean, hey, good on Ray. You know, it is what it is and stuff. We'll see if they continue the adventures of Cyborg and Joe Morton.
I'm rooting for him. # Borg life.
Yeah, you know, hey, look, I like him. I mean, I kind of like the the Doom Patrol version a little bit more, but you know, that's
he looks so bad.
So here's my thing. So in some of Ray's statements, he said that Jeff Johns was kind of being a douchebag, which like everything that I don't know Jeff Johns personally. I don't want to sound like I'm shilling.
I've heard hit and miss with Jeff Johns for some people. So
yes, like
it might track.
But what I do know about Jeff Johns for certain is that he is a Cyborg simp, and he's all in on Cyborg. So I can see him being excited, talking to like the new Cyborg, going, "Hey, there's gonna be another Cyborg. There's gonna be more Cyborg in the world." I can see him being excited about that, and I can also see Ray. And I'm not policing Ray's reaction. I can kind of see him going, "Why is he telling me this shit?"
It's like, why is he talking a lot about Cyborg more than Zach? This is kind of weird. It's very strange.
Why are you telling me about there's gonna be another Cyborg on TV? Bitch, I'm Cyborg. Why I give a fuck?
I mean, you know what? It's kind of like, you remember when Steve Amell for a hot second was feeling some sort of way when they announced Old Boy as Flash in the movies, and he was like, I was very protective. He was like, and I get it. That's your boy. That's your co-star and co-worker. I get it. And the way he says, he's like, I was very protective of him. And I'm like, I get it, dog. That CW, that's your baby. That's your world. I get it. But it's like, this is the game, man. They're going to do another Flash in the movies. It is what it is. I mean, they're not going to call you up in the movies at this point. Sorry. You know. I mean, because you already got Black Canary in the Birds of Prey movie, and they alluded to Green Arrow might be black in the Birds of Prey world, possibly. I don't know, because they alluded to it a little bit in that movie, just a little bit. And I'm like,
all I'm saying, if you want my money, HBO, like they're not already getting it. But if you want more of my money, give me a Green Arrow, Black Canary HBO miniseries. Is all I'm saying.
I mean, the money is right there on the table. I'm just saying, like. Just like a question with, Renee Montoya. It's right there on the table, DC. I'm just saying. I'm just still stunned. We're so many years into the Arrowverse, and they didn't bother to put the question in the Arrowverse. And I'm just like, that was missed opportunity.
On top of teasing it like 20 times. You were in the man's city. Steve, Oliver, you're in that man's city. And you mean to tell me you did not run into Vic not one time? Not one time. Okay.
missed opportunities and stuff. But yeah, like I said, overall, Wonder Woman 84 is free. It was fine. I mean, I think the benefit of watching it multiple times, you start realizing, because I think to watch it in the theater, and I think that's the difference between watching it and streaming and watching it in theaters. If I watched it in theaters, I don't think my opinion would have been the same as it is now versus you watch it on streaming and then you have the ability, as I said, to turn around and be like, let me go back and watch this again and stuff. And then you're like, oh, I didn't miss the scene. Oh, I see what Patty is doing. All right, cool. Got you.
Until January 27th, apparently.
Oh, yeah. It's only for a month. I totally forgot about it. So, well, and then you could buy it on, Blu-ray and 4K and all that jazz. And it'd be on premium VOD at that point.
Dude, it was fine. Everybody needs to calm the fuck down. It's a goddamn movie. It's, you know what I mean? Like, I call me crazy, but I think there are bigger things in the world going on right now than
like my $2,000 COVID check. Just saying.
If a man
where's the goddamn money, Trump?
Where's my goddamn electric car, Bruce? to say for the record, I like the fact that Harley Quinn is getting all the accolades this year because she really was like the low-key GOAT of 2020. That show, goddamn it.
Can I just say I wish Punchline had killed that bitch in the comic? Can I just go on record and say that I was so disappointed? That
Can you imagine? Can you imagine somebody say that shit to Maxwell Lord and Wonder Woman? Like, where my goddamn electric car, Maxwell? Oh my god, man, that would have been perfect. That would have been perfect. Perfect.
Fucking line when he's like, "What's with you people in Porsches?"
Bro, you know what, man? That was so. You know what? He ain't lying, man. That was a huge thing in the '80s. Like, if you had a Porsche, that was a status symbol easily. I was like, you know what? That's a little nugget of information that people don't realize and stuff. And you know what? That's another thing. The chaotic nature of the wishes was also pretty good because that one dude that was like, I just wish for a farm. I didn't ask for the cows to be here in front of the apartments. This is weird.
Which again. It's a magic wish stone that's supposed to stow chaos. I'm not thinking too deep about that shit.
Yeah. Oh my god. America feels like Luke Cage when he ran up to Doom's castle over the checks. Yes, exactly. Where's my money, honey? Come on, man. Run me my money. But yeah, anyways, that's Wonder Woman 84. You know, unlike a lot of other people that did like 3-hour podcasts on Wonder Woman 84, I'm like, how can you guys do 3 hours of this shit? I don't know. Like, no, hell no.
It's the most okay movie to ever okay and okay.
It's like, guys, relax. 3 hours ain't worth the time, and I'm pretty sure whoever's watching this on YouTube is going to appreciate it's only an hour 20 minutes that we talked about this. So I'm pretty sure that
I have friends that you know, they were like, "Did you see it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we watched it on the Christmas day. What'd you think?" And I'm like, "Just watch it. It's free." So they watch it. This fucking movie sucks. And I'm like, "Dude, what the fuck else are you doing?"
It's like, did you just go in with your arms crossed the whole time? Like,
well, no, like,
it sucks. I'm like,
we live in California. It's a fucking hotbed out here. Like, you can't get out here. And I'm like, what else are you doing? So you didn't like the movie? Who gives a shit? It killed 2.5 hours of your day where you would have sat around doing fucking nothing anyways. Like,
I mean, Disney and HBO blessed us with 2 movies. At this point, I can't complain about anything. It's like, hey, I got to see this in the comfort of my own home. I'm happy about this, you know.
Yeah, I got a superhero movie for free at home in a year that had nothing.
In 4K, by the way. That's the thing. People are not really emphasizing like, yo, this movie was streaming in 4K. Like, that's a big deal.
It looked great. So when I was telling my friends, I'm like, what the fuck else are you doing? God damn, like, that was a first world problem bullshit. Like
look, sorry, like I see people calling the movie a turd, and I'm like, did we watch 2 different Wonder Woman movies?
Thank you. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I've seen worse, guys. I've seen that Fantastic Four movie from Fox. That's bad.
In a world where Elektra exists, y'all calling this the worst comic book movie? Are you fucking serious right now?
I watched Elektra at both Ghost Rider movies. I'm just saying, like, the bar is
in a world with Thor: The Dark World and fucking Blade Trinity. How dare you? How fucking dare you?
Thor: Dark World ain't bad. It's just it exists, Prime. It's background noise to me. I told D this. I'm like, Thor: Dark World comes on FX. That shit is literally background noise. I just happen to look up like, oh, Thor's fighting dark elves. All right, cool. You know, I just kind of just leave it on as background. Hey, it's just a movie that exists, and it's like, yeah, that was Marvel Phase 2. They were figuring shit out with Thor and couldn't figure it out. I'm like, and that oddly enough, that was a movie that Patty Jenkins was supposed to do.
Yep.
Ironically.
Yep. Isn't that weird?
Ironically. So, you know, hey, it worked out for her in the grand scheme. That's why I'm like, when they announced Wonder Woman 3, it was kind of funny to be seeing people sit there and say, why are they doing the 3? And I'm like, it's Hollywood. And also, if they did Wonder Woman 2, you thought they were just going to stop there? Like,
because money.
I mean, come on. It's like, come on. It's the math is right there, guys. It's 2 + 2 = 4. Like, come on.
And then I things of people saying like, I can't wait to see how they like try to turn this into some narrative because everybody hated it. But I'm like, but everyone still watched it though. Like those numbers, whether you watched it or you liked it, that's still a streaming number.
The streaming numbers were good. HBO liked it, and I was like, yep, they won.
I mean, it's on its way to make $100 million in theatrical release in a fucking world. theaters are.
In a COVID world, making that money is actually not bad if we're going to keep it real. So,
what wishing stone are you using to try to twist this movie into a flop? Like, I'm trying to see your logic. Please help me out.
I mean, they try to do it for Tenet, and it's like, guys, if you look at the numbers for Tenet, they actually made money with Tenet. It may not have been what it would make if it was no COVID, but it still made money for WB. So where are we saying it flopped again? Like, I'm confused. Like, oh yeah, it's put it this way: if there's an accurate description of it, it's like watching the time travel elements of Terminator in real time.
I'm not a Christopher Nolan fan.
It is such a mindfuck because you're like, this really is a time travel movie, and you're just watching them actually go back in time in motion. It's like, son of a bitch, it is a time travel movie. God damn it.
Yeah, I'm not his biggest fan, but I like John David Washington and I like Robert Pattinson.
You mean Denzel Washington 2.0? Because goddamn, he sounds just like his daddy, like across the board.
It took me, because he was on Ballers, right? It took me ever to realize he was his son.
You didn't recognize the voice? That voice is just automatic, like, that's Denzel off the break.
No, because I was like, that's good. He's good. Got a good look and everything. He's good in the role and da-da-da-da. And I looked him up and it was like the son of, like, what the fuck? And then I saw a picture of him with beard, dead on.
I mean, look, if you close your eyes and you just hear the voices like, is that Denzel? It sounds like Denzel. It's like, no, that's John David Washington.
I'm waiting for one of these studios to swoop him up in some suit, fucking Jon Stewart or something. I'm waiting for the guy's he's too good and he's too, like, he's on a rise. Like he's hot. You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't like Nolan per se, but when Nolan taps you to lead his movie, it's kind of a big deal. And waiting for one of these studios to be like, you know what, you're so-and-so.
I mean, somewhere on Earth 56, John David Washington was Black Panther and Denzel was T'Chaka, so,
I'm still holding out for Denzel as Magneto. I'm still holding.
I don't know, man. If we get that first official news that he got tapped in the MCU movie, I'm just going to look at you like, Joe predicted this. I'm just saying, we have it on record multiple times.
It's the wishing stone.
Joe, you have said this since 2 years ago. You mentioned that, like, man, what if Marvel gets Denzel Washington? I was like, I don't know, Joe. They have to throw a lot of money at him, and it's just like every year, it's like all these rumors. I'm like, if they get Denzel, I don't know what Feige would have to do to get Denzel to jump in on a Marvel movie. I'm like, good luck, man.
I went on that whole rant about how, like, it doesn't make sense that he's a Holocaust survivor anymore because he'd be too fucking old, and you could go with civil rights. It's like, why not?
It's like between him and Giancarlo Esposito. It's like, man, them two are like neck and neck.
Either one. Give me either one.
I mean, somebody said Giancarlo should be Doom, and I was like, he would make a pretty good Doom. I'll be fine with that.
I'll take it. I don't give a fuck how they do it. I'll take it.
I mean, man, Jesus.
Nope.
I mean, look, if DC beats them to the punch and gets them in a DC movie, I'm like, who do you cast them? Because I don't know what you would cast Denzel as in a DC movie.
Well, see, the thing is, dude, I would have put him as Lex Luthor.
Or redo Lex Luthor and just be like, hey, fuck it, you're Lex.
Yeah. I would have said Juan Carlos Esposito, depending on how they take it, as Sinestro.
Man, he does kind of have that Sinestro demeanor to him.
Dude, he looks down at everybody. I fucking love it.
Yeah.
Look, it's great.
Man, that Green Lantern show, I'm actually kind of excited. As soon as they said fucking Guy Gardner was going to be, I was like, you have my attention. Thank you. I appreciate that so much.
Is it weird that when they said Guy Gardner, the first person I thought of was that Sean William Scott or what the fuck his name is? Bruh. Come on. Like that, it's just automatic. Like, Guy Gardner's a dick. You gotta get him. Stifler. And I'm like, Stifler.
Dude, man, everybody keeps saying they want Stifler as somebody because it's like, come on, man. Guy Gardner, even in Young Justice, I still laugh at this scene where it was like, what about Guy? No. Are you sure? No. We don't want him here. Oh man, but anyways, folks, that is it for Wonder Woman, our recap and stuff. Thanks for watching and joining us, And yeah, we'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace out.
Vidas in, dudes.